Okay, this is a quick introduction to the jellyfish. It's not intended to be everything you could possibly know about the jellyfish. This is intended as a basic concept of how to use it, what most of the major points are, and pretty much what the jellyfish is. So a jellyfish is a releasable chokestone anchor that you can retrieve all of your gear back to the bottom of a rappel. And where that might come in handy is this represents a crack in a canyon where you could wedge a rock, tie some webbing to it, and then the rock would not pull through the crack. So that's your anchor. Imagine a situation like that where there are no rocks. The jellyfish takes a little bit of time to set up, but definitely solves that problem. So the way this is going to work is well, first off, the jellyfish itself is basically a piece of cloth in a little cone shape, some straps to it, and a slit in the back. That's for visual safety checks. And a PVC pipe. PVC pipe, what that is for is, it's for the bite of the rope. So if you take a rope, fold it in half, the two sides lay nicely next to each other. However, the bite won't compress very well. You have to really push hard, and generally you cannot get it to touch. If that is in a constriction, a very tight constriction, and you're trying to pull that through, the rope will pull through. But once you get to the bite, you may not be able to get that out because this won't compress enough to go through the constriction. PVC pipe allows something like that to pull through a constriction. As you fold that down, that extra wiggle room inside the pipe, how that moves around, allows this to be the same width as the bite that's going to pull through. See how that takes up that extra room. So now that'll be the same width and would pull through a constriction. So that's what the PVC pipe actually is for. It also gives you something to wind the ball on. So you're going to come up to your crack, you'll have the jellyfish handy, you take your rope, which will be your retrieval rope. You'll pull enough rope through to wind a ball the size that you want inside the crack. That is something you're going to have to play with and get used to figure out what works. You can make the ball small, you can make it large. That's going to take a little bit of judgment on your part to try to figure out. So once you've got the rope pulled through, pull a bite into the back, have that bite, that's what's going to pull through the ball once you've wound it. Make another bite and come up to the center of the stick. What's important to note is that this bite is not longer than the PVC pipe. If it's longer than the PVC pipe, when you go to retrieve the system, the pipe can actually catch on the bite and not actually be able to pull out, and your anchor may be stuck permanently. So you can adjust this after the ball is wound, but pay attention to that. At least start out that direction, boom. So then take and start winding a ball using the rope that you've pulled through from the center. I find it helpful to just rotate the PVC pipe a quarter to a half or a third, somewhere in there turn. You'll play with it and see what works, and just start winding the ball. What you'll notice is all these little air gaps inside caused from the rope laying over, and what you'll want to do is try to wind across those in places where you see they're getting large to help kind of compress that in and make the ball a little bit less compressible and squishy when it's done. The ball still will be compressible, and this does take good judgment on where and how to use the jellyfish. It does not solve every problem where there's a crack. It does quite well, but you need to be aware of where you can and cannot use the jellyfish. So get your ball all wound up. And once it's wound, you'll have coming off of the ball a little bit of the end of this. And then you're going to take the jellyfish and place it over the top of the ball with the PVC pipe and bite a rope sticking out the back. The fabric on the jellyfish allows the ball to act as one unit rather than individual rope strands getting caught on rock and whatnot. So you'll take that whole thing and shove it inside the crack, and that becomes your rappel anchor. In sandstone and most cracks, or a lot of cracks, not most, the jellyfish will wedge itself in and feel pretty solid. But if the cracks are slick-walled or mossy or don't flare enough, kind of like the slickness of this, it might still wiggle around on you. So pay attention to how it wedges. It will take some care to figure out exactly what's going to work for you and what's not. So now once you're done, everybody will rappel from these straps. The one coming out of the PVC pipe is going to be your retrieval rope. The rope that's coming off the ball where you still have the short end, you'll tie either an overhand or an 8 in that, whatever you're comfortable with. Clip it into one of the straps, lock your beaner. Now you're all set up. The visual check of this PVC pipe allows you to know that the integrity of the ball is still good. Your rappel rope, you're going to want to clip into both of these straps. You want to grab both, not one or the other, both. Again, lock your beaner. This is going to be a rappel. If you wish to back this up, which is probably a good idea, do not do it by clipping into any webbing here or the bite there, because any type of abnormal pulling in directions can dislodge the jellyfish. Once you've got it wedged in and feel comfortable where it's at, you don't want to disturb it. You only want to pull on these straps in the direction of rappel. Any other angle can dislodge it. So your backup can be tied into this and then sent back for somebody to be on meat as a backup, or you could tie this with an extra long tail on it that goes back up for your backup. So that gets you the general setup. Everybody now rappels on this rope, and they cannot come, the ball cannot pull through the crack which the jellyfish is tied to. So it's all wedged in there really solid. Once everybody has rappelled down to the bottom and they're off this rope, it's unweighted, somebody at the bottom will take the pull rope and then they will pull it. If you'll note, the PVC pipe in the back of the jellyfish will pull through the ball and come out the front. Now, as you continue to pull, the ball is unwinding itself from the center outward, and you'll just continue to pull this rope until the whole ball gets unraveled. It'll come out of the jellyfish and be attached to your pull. That's attached to one of the straps, which allows you to pull the jellyfish through the crack, and it comes completely down, and you've retrieved the entire system. That's the jellyfish.